Welcome, friends, to the Beaver Dam. This is actually something that's crazy to me to see. I saw this last week, and I wanted to talk about it. People are using the Commander Luke Skywalker team incorrectly. They're hurting my soul. I use that phrase a lot, but it's true. Because like this is such a absolutely banger team, and I see people just destroying the team. It's a great, amazing team. You can punch up with this team a ton. You can clean up GLs. You can use it. You can split it up into some GL squads like Leia and do some amazing things. But also just by itself, it is a fantastic team. It beats Gas, which is something a lot of people have lying around right now. General Grievous, a lot of people have lying around right now because of the Lightspeed bundles. This team beats both of those. So we shouldn't be sleeping on this team. This team's great. Everyone's going for JML after their Lightspeed bundles. It's kind of the common theme is JML's kind of the easy thing to go in because of the Shadows of the Empire bundle. So what are you going to do with this team? Well, first things first, the most important thing is the guard needs to be in the right place. What I'm talking about when they talk about guard is loyal friend on Chewbacca. So at the start of the battle, grant guard to the weakest ally and Han Solo. So Han Solo gets it automatically, but then you have to give it to the weakest ally. And so whenever that weakest ally or, guarded ally, rather, they use an ability, Chewbacca assists, and then whenever Chewbacca deals a damage to an enemy, Chewbacca and all guarded allies recover 3% health and protection, which is super, super helpful. But also, guard, when they have guard, they can't be critically hit, they're immune to daze and stun, and they have 25 crit chance. And so if you're not careful, especially with how you level these characters and level this team, you're going to end up with a very poor CLS team. It'll still be a workable CLS team. It's just not going to be nearly as good. So overall, you're going to want to make sure that your weakest character is CLS. Luckily, his stats are not very high, so it's not hard to do this overall. But when it says weakest ally, that's total health plus total protection. And so you're going to want to keep an eye on that, and you're going to want to make sure that he is the weakest ally. Luckily, he does, like I mentioned, has those stats, so you can do things like the rest of the team could be Gear 12 and CLS could be Relic 3, and you'd still be able to make it so that way CLS is the weakest. And so the order of operations for relicking these characters to kind of preserve that guard, I would suggest CLS, followed by 3POC, and just kind of go down the line at that point. So Commander Luke Skywalker, 3POC, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Han Solo. That is my order that I chose, just because it preserves the guard mechanic. You can obviously, relic your Chewbacca, your 3PO and Chewie a little earlier, just to, get the damage out there, but I like to preserve the guard as much as possible because the more you up these guys, the more you can up this guy. Now, why is it important that CLS is relicked first? This is where the second half of the pain comes in that I'm really struggling when I see it with people. If we go into 3PO and Chewie's kit, I must tell the others. If the allied leader is non-galactic legend rebel, so if it's CLS, 3PO and Chewie gain 40% of the leader's max health, max protection, offense, defense, potency, and tenacity at the start of the first encounter. Rebel allies gain half that amount. Rebel allies have plus 15% critical avoidance. So right here, every ally gains 20% of CLS's stats, and then this guy specifically, 3PO, 3POC, Chewpio, whatever you want to call him, he gains 40% himself. And so I want to point this out. Okay, so it's max health. We want to keep this in mind. Max health, max protection, offense, defense, potency, and tenacity. Those are the stats that are shared, right? So those are very, very important. So CLS, we're getting those stats out there. So we have a high relic CLS, we have a more banger team. That's just how it works, and I love to see that. But we got to also make sure we're maintaining that guard mechanic. So keep that in mind as you're going through these teams. Keep an eye on those health and protection stats, and make sure you're adding them and checking where the guard is, so that way you can maintain the best CLS squad you can. But that being said, the other half of it that hurts my soul. Let's go into the suggested modding for CLS. This is the suggested modding for CLS. So, offense, and then a tenacity set. This is what people suggest. Now, if you recall, max protection, max health, tenacity, potency, offense, and then what was the last one? We'll check one time, just because I honestly I know I'm missing what the last one is. So Chupio, defense, that it is. Offense, defense, potency, tenacity. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I want to point something out. We've got people who are doing health offense. I don't think that's a bad thing. I genuinely don't, because we share max health, max offense. But what's this? Number 3 is crit damage. What? Like, crit damage would be great on a character that does damage, and that's what CLS does. He does crit damage. And so, normally it would make sense on an attacker to throw crit damage on as a set, but he doesn't share crit damage. He shares his stats with this team. He doesn't share crit damage. Now, this may look like a small percentage of 7%, but I want you to take a look at this. Erodium. Crit damage is the #1 most put on stat. Chromium. Crit damage. Bronzium. Carbonite. Everyone is putting crit damage on this character. Like, everyone from Carbonite up to Erodium, and it's only in Kyber that you see this. And like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like, even in Kyber, it's only 32% that are doing the offense tenacity. You go to Erodium, and you still have 32%. It's staying in that 30% of people doing crit damage and that kind of thing. Like, people aren't really using this offense for some reason. This crit damage is a plague. It really is. Same with like this crit damage, crit chance modding right here. He doesn't share crit chance. He doesn't share crit damage. And so you're severely limiting your team. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be that much, but you really are. And this is something that I keep seeing over and over again. So like, just don't put crit damage. That's all I'm trying to say. Maintain that guard and don't put crit damage, because that crit damage is worthless to the rest of the team. Your mods really matter on CLS. Go put crit damage on some other attacker. But CLS needs to have that offense. I would even be fine with 3 health sets. Give me 6 health mods on the character, because at least he shares his max health. I wouldn't suggest that, obviously, because if he's not the weakest, he doesn't get his guard. Give me 3 sets of potency, and he'll share that potency with the team. Give me something that he can share with his team. Please do not give him crit damage. But yeah, I've been seeing this in people's rosters, and then I went to swago.gg to show someone like, yeah, this is the suggested is offense and tenacity, and like, I can 100% see the offense health argument too. I like that. And then offense potency, I'm that's obviously what I'm running, and I enjoy that. But then I saw that crit damage was 7%. I was like, what? And then I went to Erodium, and crit damage, like, it's crazy. It's like everyone is putting crit damage on this character. So all this to say, please, if you have a CLS that has crit damage on him, go fix it. Take some time, remod him. I don't care if you have to drop his speed a little bit to get this switched out. It'll boost the overall power of your characters, especially with those offense stats. Boosting the offense stats is super, super helpful. Side note, you got this middle one. Everyone loves to do crit damage here. Don't give him offense, because he's going to share that. Crit damage, yeah, it'll up his damage overall. Offense will up the entire team's damage. So just a little tidbit, just a little fun thing that can make your Commander Luke Skywalker the best team you can. I know a lot of you are going to have this guy, and I know a lot of you already have this guy. So hopefully this helps you guys out, because like, it's so good. Like, I use this guy every GAC. I use it to kill the Qui-Gon Omicron. I use it to kill, a solo GL by himself. If I have to clean up an SLKR, it's a great cleanup for that. It's a great team to take out a couple people. It's a great team to, like, on a insane squad, you can use them to take out a couple people. You can use these guys against Gas, which is a really hard team for a lot of people. You can take him against General Grievous, like he's one of the most go-to counters. Yes, in Kyber 1, he's lost a little bit of his spark. But everywhere else in the game, he is a go-to counter in so many different cases. So don't sleep on this character. Please get his mods fixed. Hopefully this helped you guys get an idea of how this team's supposed to work just a little bit, but on top of that, how you're supposed to mod CLS. And if you have any questions, please throw them in the comment section. I always do love seeing your guys' comments, and I like to help you guys as much as I can. Regardless though, I will see you guys in the next video.